Hi guys, so for today's first impression I'm trying out the NYX Stay Matte But Not Flat Liquid Foundation, and this is what it looks like. I did have this in a haul video which I had on last week, which I'll link down below for you, and I did have one of my subscribers that said she was really excited for me to do a first impression on this, and because she does have very oily skin she wanted to see if this was a great product for her. I do have a very oily T-zone, and the only foundation I've managed to find that actually stops me from getting oily over the day is the Estee Lauder Double Wear, and that is quite expensive. It is my holy grail one, but I wanted to just try and find a foundation that pretty much keeps me nice and matte throughout the whole day that I can wear to work and things like that. As soon as I saw this on the Boots website I knew I had to try it because it does say that it keeps you matte all day, and I just wanted to see if it does work. This was only £6, so it's not a lot of money at all, and you can also purchase this in the US as well. So I am really excited actually to see how this is going to go. The shade that I purchased is the shade Ivory, which is the paler shade in the collection. I believe that there are 10 different shades on the Boots website, and to me this looks quite orange on my skin. If you can see that, just towards my skin it looks pretty orange and a lot darker than my skin tone. I am normally between porcelain and ivory, so we're just gonna see how this is gonna go. So on the packaging it says it's oil free, water based, full coverage, mineral enriched and a matte finish, and you do get 35 millilitres in here, which is 1.18 fluid ounces, which is just a little bit more than the normal drugstore foundation that you normally get. So I've already primed half of my face, which is this side, and for that I use the Rimmel Stay Matte Primer. This is what I use when my skin's getting very oily and it hasn't let me down so far. So we're going to see how it looks when I have a primer on this side and without a primer on this side. So I'm going to be applying this using my Real Technique sponge, and this is what I use all the time to put my thick foundations on, and this is what it sort of looks like. It's like a squeezy tube. So we're going to put a little bit on here and see how it goes. So I'm hoping this is going to be a matte finish, and I'm also hoping that it's going to be full coverage as well. I'm only going to put the foundation on this side of my face at the moment so we can see the difference between both sides. So I'm just going to dab a bit on. I think I have too much. It is pretty thick, so we're going to see if it works very well, if it covers up redness and blemishes and things like that. I do have a few blemishes on my skin, and I do have very red skin as well, so we're going to see how that works. So this is what it looks like with two layers on this side of my face. I have to say it looks like full coverage now, but I can still see some redness on my cheek. I really don't like the way that it looks on my cheek right here. It tends to look pretty cakey. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but it just does not look too good at all, and yeah, I'm not really impressed with it on my cheek at the moment, but the rest of my face I think it looks pretty good, so I'm pretty impressed with the rest of that. So I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of my face, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. So this is what the foundation looks like on both sides of my face. I do have two layers on each side, and I have to say I don't really think I like this at the moment. It does look like it's starting to oxidize. It does look like a dewy finish as well, so it's not completely matte. So I'm going to finish off the rest of my makeup and I'm going to come back and show you what it looks like. So I've just finished off my makeup and it's taken me about half an hour, and I have to say I'm not really sure how I feel about this foundation. I think it looks really nice and flawless from quite far away, but the thing is it does look cakey on some areas of my face, and also I just think it looks nice from quite far away. So if you're quite far away it looks really nice and flawless, but parts of my face do look a little bit cakey, like my nose and also on my cheeks. If I did wear a foundation I don't normally put two layers on my skin, so two layers of this feels quite heavy as well. And I'll come back in a couple of hours and let you know how it goes. It's 12:52 at the moment, so I'll see you in a bit guys. Bye! Hi guys, so I'm back and it's now 5:15 in the evening, so I've had this foundation on for just over 4 hours, and I have to say straight away I am really not impressed in how this foundation is done for 4 hours. As you can see on my face, even from quite far away you can see that I have some red patches on my face, so it hasn't stayed on all of my face, and it is meant to be a matte foundation, so I'm not really impressed in how it's done. My foundation looks pretty horrible at the moment. So I'm just going to give you a quick little update, and I'm going to zoom in so you can see what my skin looks like zoomed in, and you can see the patches on my face where it's worn off and what it looks like. So this is what the foundation looks like after 4 hours, and as you can see I have no foundation on my nose, and my chin is very red, and also on my forehead it's very blotchy as well. And on this side here I do have blotchiness right there, and also my blush has not stayed on. It's pretty much completely come off where my blush was applied, which is not too good. My blush was on there earlier on and it looked really nice, but after a couple of hours it just looks like it's completely rubbed off. And my nose honestly is the worst thing. If you can see right here, I have redness all around here. I have blotches around my nose, around here as well. So at the moment I'm really not impressed in how it's done. It's not as if it's boiling hot outside. It's the middle of winter and it's very cold, and I haven't got very oily or anything like that. Like, my forehead is not oily or shiny or anything like that. And yeah, I still have blotches on this side as well. I'm not happy with how it's done. I just think it looks completely horrible at the moment. So this is what my skin looks like at the 4 hour mark, and I'm going to come back in another couple of hours and give you an update and tell you what I think about this foundation. Bye! Hi guys, so I'm back and it's now almost 7:20 in the evening, and I've had this foundation on for about 6.5 hours, and I have to say that now is my time when I really want to get this foundation off. I really do not like the way that it looks. My skin looks really patchy and it looks really shiny and oily, and I don't think it's held up very well at all. A lot of foundations that I do have after 6.5 hours, it looks really nice, and now this just looks absolutely horrible. And even after the 4 hour mark it just looked really bad, and I knew from then on that I really didn't like it. So this is 2 layers that I had on my skin, and I had this side which had the primer on and this side which didn't have the primer on, and honestly there's pretty much no difference. The foundation has come off on both sides pretty much equally, and I just have a lot of redness where it's come off. I haven't been itching my face and I haven't been rubbing or anything like that, and it just has come off in the most ridiculous places. So one place where it looks like I'm really oily is on my forehead, and I'm just going to blot this to see if it looks any different. I mean, there is a little bit of transfer that's come off, but it just looks ridiculous. And yeah, the foundation has pretty much come off of a lot of my face. Just so you guys can see how bad this foundation actually looks, I'm going to zoom in so you can see up close. So this is what my skin looks like zoomed in, and you can see how horrible this foundation looks. I have blotches all on this side of my face. You can see where my blush has completely come off. This actually came off at the 4 hour update, which just was not very good at all. So I have red blotches all up here on my face, and on my forehead I pretty much have absolutely no product on there. There are really big blotches of redness right on here where you can see that the foundation has completely come off. My nose has no foundation on there. It has these tiny little specks on it, and it just looks cakey and absolutely ridiculous. And on this side of my face it looks exactly the same as my other cheek, and also the redness has come out on my chin, and also underneath my nose I have so much redness there. So it just does not look very good at all, and yeah, I'm not happy with the way that my skin looks. So now I'm going to have a look at the claims and see if I agree with them. So the first thing is, it says it's oil free, and I'm not sure if this is oil free because my oils were peeking through quite a lot. You can see that my skin just does not look very good at this point of the day. It was very shiny, and I had to blot, and all of the foundation pretty much just came off. It does not look very good. So that's one thing where I think that it's not oil free, because it just seemed to make me look even more oilier than any of my normal foundations. And full coverage, I don't think this is full coverage. If you do have 2 layers on, then it might be full coverage, but I did have a giant blemish right here, and I tried to cover it up with this foundation and it just didn't want to work. I even put extra foundation on there and the redness was still there and you could still see it. And I just really didn't like the look of this. On my cheeks I still had all my redness coming through, and then when I tried to cover up even more of the redness, it went really cakey and it just did not look very good. So I do not agree that it's full coverage. If you want to put 2 layers on, it is a lot thicker, but Like I said, it's not completely full coverage, and I didn't like the feel of it. It felt very heavy on my skin, and I've never had a foundation that feels very heavy like this. I have used the Kat Von D Lock It Tattoo foundation, and I really like that. It felt a little bit heavier than my normal foundations, but nowhere near as heavy as this one, and it covers up a lot better than this one does as well. And a matte finish. I do not agree that it has a matte finish. As you saw in this update, and also the update from the 4-hour mark, my skin looked very dewy and it didn't look very matte at all. It looked very shiny and it just didn't look very good. So overall, I have to say I really do not like this foundation. I definitely wouldn't recommend it. It's not good for you guys that have oily skin. It wouldn't be good for people that have dry skin. It might be good if you have normal skin, but the longevity of this foundation just isn't there, and it just didn't look very good, and I just really don't like it. So don't waste your money on this. Even though it is only £6, it's definitely not worth it, and I will not be trying this out again. I just can't tell you how much I really don't like this foundation. It's probably the worst foundation that I've tried, and that's saying to me because I've tried out a lot of crap foundations. So this is my review on the NYX Stay Matte But Not Flat Liquid Foundation. If you did like this foundation, or if you had the same experience as me, just comment down below to let me know. Make sure that you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in my next video, guys. Bye!